The white dress hung behind the door, the tag still attached. Julia sat on the edge of her bed, knees drawn to her chest, as though the dress might somehow offer an answer. Outside, the house buzzed with final preparations. Florists rushed by with the last of the roses. Musicians tuned their instruments. Her mother barked out orders like a general preparing for battle, orchestrating a wedding fit for royalty. Everything looked perfect, so they said. But inside, Julia knew something was wrong. Not fear, not doubt. It was a quiet certainty, a sense that things were about to fall apart. A voice deep inside whispered, "This isn't it. This isn't right." Across the city, Anna stepped out of a taxi, her backpack slung over one shoulder, her heart pounding. She didn't know why she'd come exactly. The message had been short, surprising, almost cryptic. "Are you in town?" It had been 2 years since they'd last seen each other. 2 years of silence, of building lives around all the things left unsaid. Anna had believed she'd moved on. New jobs, new places, even other women. But Julia remained a wound that never quite healed. A question that returned in the quietest moments. Now, here she was. The sounds of a wedding floated through the air. Anna wasn't there to crash a fairy tale. She came because she never believed it was one. Back in her room, Julia stood and walked over to the dress. She ran her fingers along the fabric. It wasn't the fear of commitment that weighed on her. It was the fear of betraying herself. How could she promise forever when her heart still belonged to someone else? Then something shifted. A soft knock at the door. A held breath. A feeling that this day, this wedding, this. Then something shifted. A soft knock at the door. A held breath. A feeling that this day, this wedding, this moment, was about to become something entirely different. A different story. One that hadn't been planned, but maybe, just maybe, the one that was real. Julia had always been the obedient daughter. Quiet, polite, predictable. Her mother called her a peaceful soul. But Julia often felt more like a shape than a person. From a young age, she knew what was expected. Good grades, a respectable job, a decent man, a beautiful wedding. No one ever asked if that's what she wanted. Except Anna. They met in college. Anna was everything Julia had never allowed herself to be. Bold, chaotic, unapologetically free. Her thoughts were messy, her laugh was loud, and her eyes always seemed to search for more. Julia admired her from afar until she didn't. They shared classes, coffees, secrets, and eventually one unexpected kiss. Awkward. Short. But for the first time, something inside Julia fit effortlessly into place. Then came the fear. Not of love, but of judgment. Of family. Friends. Her own reflection. They tried to hold on, then tried to let go. They didn't know how to love in the open, or how to part without breaking. Eventually, they just stopped trying. Julia returned to her mold. A perfect boyfriend. A predictable life. Anna disappeared to another city, as she always did. Quietly, completely. Now, on the edge of marriage, Julia couldn't stop thinking of her. Each step toward the altar felt like a step away from herself. The ring on her finger weighed less than the silence in her chest. And then, like a final chance from the universe, Julia's hand trembled as she typed out a message. "Are you in town?" She hadn't expected a reply. But it came, yes. "Are you okay?" For the first time, Julia realized that wasn't a simple question. She was alive. She was loved. She was about to marry a good man. But okay? No. Anna arrived sooner than expected. Julia had barely sent the message when she found herself at the top of the stairs, heart pounding, looking down, and there she was. Anna, standing at the door, her hair damp from the drizzle. They didn't speak right away. They just looked at each other, the noise of the house fading behind them. "I thought you wouldn't come," Julia finally said. "So did I," Anna replied. "But here I am." Julia's heart beat wildly. A part of her wanted to grab Anna's hand and run. Another part screamed at her to walk away before she ruined everything. But it was too late. Once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. They went upstairs. No touch. No tears. Just silence. Anna's eyes scanned the room. The decorations, the bouquet, the wedding that wasn't meant for her. Do you still want to get married? Anna asked.
No szofnis. No filter.
Julia looked down. The silence stretched. It's not a no, but it's not a yes either, she said, her voice cracking. I just want to stop lying to myself. Anna nodded. She didn't need more. Sometimes love doesn't return to stay, just to remind you who you were before you forgot. Julia hadn't planned on stopping her wedding. She hadn't woken up intending to change her life. But now, sitting across from Anna, she knew this was the most honest moment she'd had in years. Her mother's voice called from the hallway. Julia, it's time. She turned. Tears filled her eyes. Not of sorrow, but of relief. Of clarity. She looked at Anna and didn't hesitate. I can't do it. Not like this. She walked down the stairs, Anna behind her. Guests turned. Some smiled. Others whispered. Her fiancé stood at the altar. When he saw her, without the dress, without the veil, he understood. I'm sorry, Julia said. Her voice didn't waver. And then, something unexpected. No one shouted. No one tried to stop her. There was silence. Then, a single clap. An older woman in the second row. Her eyes glistened. Then, another clap. And another. Not for scandal, but for courage. Outside, the rain had fallen softly, as everything inside quietly came undone. Julia stepped out without an umbrella. Anna beside her. They didn't know where they were going, but they walked. You don't have to say anything, Anna murmured under the gray sky. But I want to, Julia replied. She paused. My whole life, I've done what everyone expected. Today, for the first time, I did something that felt like mine. Anna didn't say a word. She just looked at her, really looked. This wasn't a happy ending. Not yet. It was the beginning of something real. They sat on a bench under a dripping tree. Julia slipped off her shoes, wanting to feel the earth beneath her feet. I don't know what happens next, she said. Maybe this is just a moment. Maybe it'll last a day, a month, or a lifetime. But I know this. I didn't want to get married today because I was afraid of being alone. I wanted to look at you. Anna smiled. Not big, but genuine. Julia reached out her hand. A silent promise. I want to try. Anna took it. So do I. The sky began to clear. Light broke through. No altar. No vows. Just two women, soaked and exhausted, but honest. She walked down the stairs, Anna behind her. Guests turned. Some smiled. Others whispered. Her fiancé stood at the altar. When he saw her, without the dress, without the veil, he understood. I'm sorry, Julia said. Her voice didn't waver. And then, something unexpected. No one shouted. No on. There was no wedding that day. There was something better. A beginning.